वो चेक हो गया क्या? एग्जाम का चेक हो गया? अस्सलाम वालेकुम। आवाज आ रहा है?
अभी अभी आ रहा है मेरा आवाज?
हाँ, अभी आ रहा है।
ओके।
ये
तो पेपर्स जो है ना वो मैंने एक्चुअली दिया किसी और को भी, क्योंकि मेरे को टाइम नहीं था, तो इंशाल्लाह एक दो दिन हो जाएगा तो मैं भेज देता हूँ। 9:30 हो गया, शुरू करते हैं, फिर लोग ज्वाइन करेंगे इंशाल्लाह। अऊज़ु बिल्लाहि मिनश शैतानिर रजीम, बिस्मिल्लाहिर रहमानिर रहीम। रब्बि इश्रह ली सदरी व यस्सिर ली अमरी वहलुल उक़दतम मिन लिसानी यफ़क़हू क़ौली। अऊज़ु बिल्लाहि मिनश शैतानिर रजीम, बिस्मिल्लाहिर रहमानिर रहीम। So alhamdulillah, I welcome all of you all back again to our second pointer that is going on in the Surah Al-Baqarah. And the first part that we'll be taking is the Quran part of it, the Quran class of it. And then we will be taking the grammar like we normally do. The grammar part. Okay. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Bismillahi alhamdulillahi wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Amma ba'd. A'udzu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. So with this, I welcome you all back again to the session of Understand Quran and Salah the Easy Way. We have already finished the Salah part, and we are now on the Quran. We've started Surah Al-Baqarah, and we are on the second course, page number 2 and pointer number D. We already discussed what these are, but just to go through it again, we will just see what this. So today we'll be doing the 2D, the Quran part, and the grammar part. This slide we've been seeing every time, which includes the timeline of how the Quran was revealed and how it started from secret dawah to open dawah and oppositions to the increasing persecution of the Muslims, extreme persecution, and then migration to Medina. Now we are on Surah Al-Baqarah, which is a Madani surah, and it is revealed completely in the early Medinan period. So about the first 2-3 years of the Medinan period is where Surah Al-Baqarah was. And this is how we are going. The first page is over, that is the thumb is over. Now we are on the index finger, and that is the second page, and now we are on the last part of the index finger. That is the pointer number D. This is how the fingers were made. This is for easy memorization and to have a visualization of the page so that we know what are the points that are there on that particular page. So that becomes easier for people to remember as well. So anybody who would want to memorize, it is good for them. And there is a particular application also which is taking this into consideration. So you can have these pointers for the whole Quran as well. I'll share that in the WhatsApp group. Because we are on the second page of the Surah Al-Baqarah, in which we have covered already the first 3 pointers. There was no guidance for the kafirin, no guidance for the munafiqin. And last time we had seen about the corrupt and the fools. And today we'll be seeing about the double-faced, that is the munafiq. So these are the pointers of the second page. First part is no guidance for the kafirun. In short, you can remember just kafirun. Second is about the munafiqun. Third is about the corrupt and the fools. And the last part, which will come within the palm part, will be the double-faced. So these pointers make it easy memorization for people who are interested in memorizing. And I think everybody should be. So in short, these are the 4 pointers. And with that, we are going to be at the last pointer today. That is a fourth pointer, which talks about the double-faced people. So linking it with the previous verses, the hypocrites and the corrupt and the fools. Hypocrites are the corrupts and the fools, even though they claim to be reformers and smart. That continues to describe their behavior a little more in these ayahs that we are inshallah going to take today. So before we start, we just take the lessons that are there and then we go to the words and the ayat directly. The munafiqs and the double-faced mockers, and Allah is prolonging them in their transgression, and they are losers and are not guided. So how easy the Quran is, you have to learn this, and we have seen that in all lines of the Quran there are just about 2 or 3 pointers and phrases, and if we take them together as a phrase, it will be easier for us to understand the meanings of each. So with this, this is the ayat that we are going to take. This is ayat number 14, and it says, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وإذا لقوا الذين آمنوا قالوا آمنا وإذا خلوا إلى شياطينهم قالوا إنا معكم إنما نحن مستهزئون. So that was the recitation, and we'll take it word by word. Ba is and, iza is when, laqu is meet. Okay. So the root word of laqu is what? Anybody would want to? Of laqu.
लक्का रहेगा ना लक्काया
Lam, Kaf, and Ya. Very good. So there are some places we have talked earlier in the first level that there is Ya which is used as an alif, like in Hada, but here this Ya will have the dots in it. Okay? So the root words, I'll just write it down here so that you can understand. The root words of this will be Lam, Kaf, and Ya with 2 dots. The Ya with 2 dots down. Laqiya. These are the root words of this laqu. Right? So laqiya, and then the plural of that becomes laqu. Like hada, last time we had seen hada, wherein da'a we had seen, and da'u. So same way laqu is when they met. And we've already seen one more thing is that when iza comes, when iza comes, then it becomes a present and future tense, even if the verb here is in the past tense, right? So laqu grammatically and the conjugation wise will come in the past tense. Laqu is past tense, right? Because of this iza that is coming here, becomes present future. Okay. So the verb used is laqu, which is looking like a past tense verb, but because of iza, this alif here, it becomes a future, present and future tense verb, right? Because of this alif.
there was any hamza
Yeah, because of the hamza and this fatha.
because
Iza.
of the iza.
When it is
The last word of the laqu is removed because it makes it mansoob, like, you know?
No. That is not the case that is happening here. Laqu is the word by itself, and it is not because of that mansoob. We are going to come to that. So when we come to that, we'll take which words are going to cause it.
No?
Is,
Laqu,
yeah, laqu is the normal past tense plural. Laqu is a normal past tense. It is like all and alu, something like that. Okay. So this is not because of mansoob and all that. Here the points to be noted are when it is, it is past tense, and when it is iza, it goes into present and future tense. This is the point that you have to remember. This point, in fact, we have seen earlier also, but just as a revision.
Coming wow, there will be hamza and
where
jazm, na? Jazm, na? Jazm.
No, on the wow there is nothing. On this wow there is nothing.
Nothing. Or
no.
Jazm.
No. So we'll just prolong this laqu, wa idha laqu, and when there is a lam with a shadda here, alladhi has a shadda on it, right? You can see this. So that's why this will be pronounced as وَإِذَا لَقُوا الَّذِينَ. You're not going to pull it like لَقُوا, right? Say for example in qalu, you are going to pull it mad, but here there will be no mad. Though this is actually a madda word, but because of this shadda that is coming here, we will pronounce it fast. This waw is not pronounced, this alif is not pronounced, this alif is not pronounced, and we'll just pronounce the lam with it. Is that clear? I'll mark it so that it will become a little more comfortable for you. See, so
wow, it has to be prolonged, no?
No. So here, if you see, this lam is having a shadda, because of which this alif, this waw is not read at all. So this this qaf is joined to this lam, and then we will pronounce it. وَإِذَا لَقُوا الَّذِينَ. Will not pull it. وَإِذَا لَقُوا الَّذِينَ. وَإِذَا لَقُوا الَّذِينَ. That is how it will be pronounced, right? So
because of this tajdeed, the whole thing makes it different.
Yeah. No, the tajdeed is normally not written. It is for us who are not understanding and reading. The Arabs will read it like that only. Without those tajdeed and without those Arab. Since we are not so comfortable, we are sort of taking this help and putting this tajdeed and all that, right? A lot of Qurans and the Qurans earlier did not have any of these Arab, because they knew the words very well. Like Urdu people write without Arab because they know the words and how they are pronounced. Coming back to our grammar, وَإِذَا لَقُوا الَّذِينَ. And when they meet, they would be all of them. And when they all meet, whom? Alladhina, we already know, is those who. Amanu. Amanu is what? Grammatically, amanu is past tense plural. Yes, past tense plural. And we had one word last time, which was aminu. Aminu is order. Right? We'll come to the grammar of that later, but just remember that difference that last time we discussed. Amanu is they believed. So, وَإِذَا لَقُوا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا. So when they all meet, all those who believed. Qalu. Now there's a mad here. Qalu. You can see that there's a mad, so you have to prolong it. Qalu amanna. So amana is singular. Amana, amanu, amanta, amantum, amantu, amanna. Amanna is we all believe. Right? Nahnu amanna. So وَإِذَا لَقُوا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا قَالُوا آمَنَّا. And when they meet, الَّذِينَ, those who, آمَنُوا, believed, قَالُوا, they all say, what do they say? Amanna, that we believe. This is what the hypocrites say to believers when they meet the believers. So laqu is the root word we discussed was lam, af, and ya, laqiya. And with the same root we get the word mulaqat, meeting, mulaqat, which is used commonly in Urdu also. That would make it easier for you to understand the meaning of the word laqu. Okay, so laqu is, and a mulaqat word comes from the word laqu only. And as we discussed, the root words of laqu are lam, af, and ya. But as we know that weak verbs can change waw, hamza, and ya in any which ways, depending upon the situation, and that is what we are learning in this second course. So, وَإِذَا لَقُوا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا قَالُوا آمَنَّا. وَإِذَا. Now we already know that when iza comes, it is present future. وَإِذَا خَلَوْا. Khalaw. So what are the root words of khalaw? Anybody? The root words of khalaw? The root words of khalaw? They're in front of you. Kha, lam, and waw. In the past tense will be what? Anybody? Past tense of khalaw will be khala. Okay, the past tense will be khala. Wa idha khalaw, when they all are alone, because it is started with a plural. Laqu, amanu, amanna, all are plural. That's why wa idha khalaw, when they all are alone, right? When they are alone amongst themselves, that means wa idha khalaw. So being alone and being together, because plural is together, and khalaw, the because the word khalaw means to be alone, and the part that khalaw is used as a plural, it means that when they all are alone by themselves. إِذَا خَلَوْا إِلَى شَيَاطِينِهِمْ. إِلَى, with or towards, شَيَاطِينِهِمْ. Shayateen is the plural of shaitan. Shayatinihim. So who are these shayateen? Who are these shayateen?
Non-believers.
Yes. So we know already from Surah Al-Nas that shayateen can be from ins and jinn both. Right? So in our daily lives, we could be meeting a lot of shayateen minal nas, and they might be taking us away from Sirat al-Mustaqim. So we have to be aware of this. This is what we should be learning, that there are shayateen from ins who can mislead us in our daily lives, and that's why we have to be on our alert, and then we have to keep making dua and saying A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim as much as possible. So that will be our refuge in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from the shaitan. Right? Going back, إِذَا خَلَوْا إِلَى شَيَاطِينِهِمْ, and when they are alone towards or with the evil ones, or with the shayateen of nas, because the word shayateen is used, the evil ones among men. Qalu is they said. Qalu, we have already done the gardan of this. Inna, we already know the meaning of inna. Inna means indeed we. Ma'akum, ma'a means with. Ma is a very commonly used when the small surahs. Ma'akum, kum is with you all. Ma'a means with. So what they say, qalu inna ma'akum, indeed we all are with you. Ma'a means with. So inna ma'al usri, with difficulty. Inna ma'al usri yusra, with difficulty is ease. So that is the word ma'a. So inna ma'akum, indeed we are with you. Next word innama is what we have already learned last time also. Innama means indeed only you, or sirf. In Urdu it is sirf, only. Nahnu karne wale, right? So the people who are just playing the fool. So whom are they playing the fool with? Whom are they mocking? They are mocking the believers. So when they are with the believers, they'll say, oh, we are with you, we are Muslims, and they'll talk of all things that way. When they're alone with their own kind of people, they will say, okay, we are with you only, but we are actually making them fools. So this is what this ayat says. إِذَا خَلَوْا, and when they are alone, إِلَى شَيَاطِينِهِمْ قالوا إنا معكم إنما نحن مستهزئون. إنما is only, نحن is we all, مستهزئون is mockers. So when the hypocrites meet with the believers, they proclaim their faith and pretend to be believers, pretend to be loyalists, and pretend to be friends. The beauty of this ayat is Allah Ta'ala is using the word iza, so which means that it is going to happen in future as well. To be alert about this, that when we are meeting people, or when some people are meeting us, they will say, oh, we are with you. But when they are alone, they would be having some other evil intentions. We just need to be aware of this. They do this to deceive the believers because they want to have a share of the benefits and the gains that the believers might possibly acquire. What could be this? What this could be?
Business.
Yes, in present scenario, business. But in scenario of this ayat, it could be the booty that they could get, because this is Madani period and there were a lot of small skirmishes that were happening, and then they were getting a lot of all there. So that could be one. And in present scenario, we could there could be people who want to utilize you for certain things and have benefits from there, right? So when they are doing this, they do this to deceive the believers because they want to have a share of the benefits and the gains that the believers might possibly acquire. So directly putting it as a business may not be right, because if we see the context of the ayat is when they were within Medina, and they would have had, if they would be opposing Islam, or they were not becoming Muslims, then they could have had a lot of disadvantages at that time, because now the Medina was almost completely become Islamic, and that was the center of Islam and the political center of Islam as well. So in that situation, if you are not a Muslim, then you would have different things, and that's the reason they would want to pretend that they are Muslims. Right. So shayateen, we have seen, is that they are the leaders of the Jews of Medina in those times and who are working against Islam.
Leaders and Jews.
Yes. So the leaders, their leaders and the Jews of Medina, because they are the shayateen that are described here. So somebody could just take this ayat and translate it. Guys, maybe you can do it, and then the next ayat we'll ask somebody else to do it.
Can I try?
Yeah, go ahead.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وإذا لقوا الذين آمنوا and when they meet those who believe. قالوا آمنا, they say we believe. وإذا خلوا إلى شياطينهم, but when they are alone with their evil ones. قالوا إنا معكم, they say indeed we are with you. إنما نحن مستهزئون, we are only mockers.
MashaAllah, very good. MashaAllah, your recitation is also alhamdulillah much better. Only thing is, qalu, the qaf should be like with a full mouth. So it should be qalu, not kalu. Qalu, yeah, a mouth should become like qalu. So it will be like a full mouth, you know. So qaf is that kind of word, and it has to be when you are hearing, it should be completely different from the qaf. So qalu inna ma'akum, ka is different and qa is different. So qalu, right? So it is a little practice that is required for that, but mashallah, good attempt and good translation. So yeah, with we come back to the questions so that we know that you all are all awake.
Yeah.
Shayateen here refers to whom? They refers to disbelievers, the leaders of the hypocrites, believers, or Jews of Medina. So apart from the believers, it could be anything, but here it refers specifically to the leaders of the hypocrites and the Jews of Medina. Only two of. Okay. Yeah, but otherwise it could be disbelievers in other situations. So the here it is the leaders of the hypocrites and the Jews of Medina. Right. So next question, just be ready. Wa idha laqu means what? So we just covered wa idha laqu means what? And they meet.
When they meet.
Or it is and when they meet, or it is and they are meeting and meet. So what is the answer? And they meet, and when they meet, and they are meeting now and meet. The answer is only one of them. So I'll just wait till you all put your answers in your chat boxes. Yeah. And when they meet, right? So we've seen that Iza is making it future, present, future. Laqu is they meet. So Iza laqu, and when they meet. Iza khalaw, but when you are alone, but when we are alone, but when he is alone, but when they are alone. This is simple. Khalaw is past tense word, but with Iza it is becoming present, future, and it is plural. All these clues I've given you, which will make it easier for you to okay. Right. The answer is D, but when they are alone. Alhamdulillah. So this we have had a small revision of that also. And then inshallah we go ahead. Okay. So with that we come to the 15th ayat. Allahu yastahzi'u bihim wa yamudduhum fi tughyanihim ya'mahun. Allahu yastahzi'u. Here we are seeing that Allah is in the with a pesh, okay, which means that Allah is doing this work of what? Mocking them. Yastahzi'u. Allah is mocking bihim, with them or at them. So Allah is mocking at them. Vayamudduhum. Muddu is what? Muddu is prolonging. Where does the word come from? Mad. We saw we had prolonged the qalu. This is called prolonging, and this is called mad in Arabic, right? The same word mad is used here in the verb form in the present tense. And Allah Ta'ala is prolonging them. Allah is mocking at them and prolonging them. Prolonging them in what? That will come next. So Allahu yastahzi'u bihim wa yamudduhum, and prolonging them fi in طغيانهم. طغيان is the translation. طغيانهم, their transaction, then their transgression. Right? So وَيَمُدُّهُمْ فِي طُغْيَانِهِمْ, and Allah Ta'ala is mocking at them, and Allah Ta'ala is prolonging them in their transition, which means that Allah wandering blindly, right? So again, this we have discussed before. They are not blind from their eyes, but they are blind from their hearts, such that the reality of Iman and Haqq is not reaching them. So they are not blind wherein they are not able to see the earthly things. They are able to see the earthly things, but Allah Ta'ala is telling that they are blinding, they are wandering blindly, which means that they don't have a direction. And the direction is, even if it is there, it is not at the Sirat al-Mustaqim. It is wandering at other places. It is not getting them Sirat al-Mustaqim, because Sirat al-Mustaqim is the only way towards Allah and only way towards the Jannah, and the shortest way towards Allah and shortest way towards Jannah. It's a straight path, Sirat al-Mustaqim. This we have discussed in Surah al-Fatiha. Here Allah is saying, Allahu yastahzi'u bihim wa yamudduhum. That means Allah Ta'ala is prolonging them. Madda yamuddu, prolong, stretch. Allah Ta'ala is Allahu yastahzi'u bihim wa yamudduhum fi tughyanihim. So this is how it is split. Wa and yamuddu prolongs hum, them. Wa yamudduhum, and prolongs them. Fi means in, tughyanihim, in their transgression. Transgression there. So in their transgression. Ya'mahun. Ya'mahun is blindly, as I said, which means away from the Sirat al-Mustaqim. They are just blindly wandering. So Allah's mocking is that He's letting them live in a Muslim society where they are protected. So they might think that they have succeeded in deceiving the Muslims, but in the hereafter, He will send them to hell. And this is what Allah Ta'ala is saying, that Allah is actually mocking them, and they are not the ones who are mocking Allah, or they are not the ones who are fooling Allah. It is Allah who is sort of fooling them, which means that they are not able to penetrate, the Iman is not able to penetrate their hearts. Right? So same thing as a person with belief sees, and his heart responds in a different way. And if the heart is not right, it will respond in another way. So as we had discussed last time, Allah Ta'ala says that
one thing I would like to ask.
Yeah.
Ya'maun is derived from umyun.
Or umyun. No. Umyun is just blind. Here the root words are Ain, Mim, and Ha. Inshallah, we'll be coming to the root words of that, and we'll be discussing that in detail once these ayat are done, inshallah. We have a detailed description for Ya'mahun. Right, so since you've asked the question, can you take this translation? The English is already written, so just go ahead. Auzu, first Auzu, and then take.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الله يستهزئ بهم ويمدهم في طغيانهم يعمهون الله يستهزئ, Allah mocks بهم, at them, ويمدهم في طغيانهم, and prolong them in their transgression يعمهون, while they wander blindly.
Right. So tughyanihim is their transgression, and madda, as I discussed, is stretching or prolonging them. Madda is stretching. Alhamdulillah. So we'll take that word ya'mahun in a little more detail in some time. So yamudduhum is what? Yamudduhum is, and He prolongs them, and they prolong them, and He prolongs them, and He prolongs you all. Right? So you all will be out because is there. Yamuddu is He prolongs, and Vav is and. So, and He prolongs them. So put your answers there. I've already told you the answer by the description, but just put it there in the chat boxes. Yes, the answers are coming. Okay, so He prolongs them is the right answer. Okay, so Yamuddu is, and He prolongs them. Madda, as we discussed, was mad means to pull and prolong, and that's how we are getting, and he prolongs them. So tughyan was transgression, fi was in, fi tughyanihim. So what is the translation? That in their transgression, in your transgression, in his transgression, with their transgression. So what is the answer? In their transgression, in your transgression. Put the answers in the chat boxes. Okay, the answer is A. Keep putting the answers. Okay, let's go ahead. So in their transgression. So this was pretty simple. With this, we come to the 16th ayah. And this, as we discussed, is the second page and the pointer number D. Ulaika. Ulaika, we already seen is those. Alladhina. Ulaika alladhina. Those are the ones who. Ulaika alladhina. What are they? Ulaika alladhina ishtarawu dalala. Ishtarawu dalala. When the noon is not there, we pronounce it ishtarawu dalala. But since the hamza will not be read if there is something in front, that's why we're reading it as أولئك الذين اشتروا الضلالة. So ishtara is to purchase. Ad-dalala is error. Dalalatun. Dalin also comes from the same thing. Dalal, error. So ulaika alladhi. So here Allah Ta'ala is saying what they are doing. Right? So they are the ones who have purchased error. Dalalat. Kharid li hai dalalat. They have purchased the dalalat or the error or being on the wrong path. They have purchased this. Bil huda. Bil huda with huda. So instead of purchasing huda, they have purchased dalala. They have purchased error. For then, ma, not, for ma, robihat. Robihat, robiha is to gain profit. Robiha is to gain profit, and the same root words also give rise to the word ribah, which is haram. Right? So robiha is to profit. For ma robihat, tijaratuhum. Tijara, we already know, is a commonly used word. Tijara is commerce, business. So what's their purchase of the dalalat instead of or in exchange of al-huda is not profiting them. Fama rabihat, did not profit. Tijaratuhum, their tijara, their commerce, their business. Wama, and not. Kanu, and not they were. Muhtadeen, and not were they guided. So please note that this ayat is on the next page, but it is related to this pointer, and that's why this is taken along with this. So as we discussed, we were discussing page number 2, but this particular ayah is falling on page number 3, but we have taken it along with this because it is of the same pointer, because it is of the same context that the talk is going on. Right? So coming again, أولئك الذين اشتروا الضلالة بالهدى فما ربحت تجارتهم وما كانوا مهتدين. So ulaika, those, alladina, those who, ishtaru, have purchased, ad-dalala, they have purchased dalala bil huda in exchange of guidance. Fama, then not, thus not, rabihat, and not profited. Rabihat is feminine form, right? Fama rabihat, so has not profited. Tijaratuhum, their tijarat, their commerce. Wama, and not, kanu, they were, muhtadeen, and they were not guided. So they are ultimate losers because they will end up in hell eternally. May Allah Ta'ala save us and protect us from being from them.
Rabiha, you said no, Rabiha.
Rabihat.
Rubah, no? But this is
No, ribah is also from the same root words, but it is different form. We will discuss when that form comes. We will be discussing the word rabiha in great detail in this class itself. Obviously on the wrong path and therefore not guided. So that is riba is interest. That riba is interest or usury, right? Interest, that is haram. That is coming from the fourth form of the same root words, arbaha yurbihu. But here this is rabiha. This is on the pattern of salasim. Halal riba. So that riba is not profit, that riba is interest. This rabiha is profit. Okay, they are two different words and different different types of words, I would say, because it is like jalasa and ajlasa. Jalasa means he said, ajlasa means usne bithaya, something like that. Rabiha and arbaha, right? So aslama becomes Islam and arbaha becomes ribah, on that pattern. That pattern we have not taken. When we take that pattern, inshallah, we'll discuss this word again. So don't ever call someone munafiq. Only Allah knows who is a munafiq or whose heart has munafiqat. Let's worry about ourselves and check the deficiencies in ourselves and advise ourselves first, so that we first of all improve and not have any hard feelings or bad feelings about anyone else. Advise others without any feeling that you are great. So we shouldn't. What happens is that when we know certain things, we become self-righteous, and self-righteous means I am only right and everybody is wrong, which is not the right approach. We have to, if somebody is in error, we have to try to get them on the right path, not authoritatively, to make him understand and get him on the right path. Inshallah. That will be the right approach, and that will be the approach of what the Prophet ﷺ has taken. We have to learn that from the Sunnah on how the Prophet ﷺ did his dawah and how people would follow him with the kind of dawah that he did. So I would request somebody else to take, maybe Dr. Abu Mohsin, you want to take this ayah? Are you there?
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead, inshallah.
That is such a problem for me. Can you help out? أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم أولئك الذين اشتروا الضلالة بالهدى فما ربحت تجارتهم وما كانوا مهتدين أولئك الذين those are the one who Ashtarawud Dalala have purchased error, Bil Huda, in exchange for guidance. Fama Rabihat, so did not profit. Tijaratuhum, their commerce. Fama Kanu Muhtadeen, and they were not guided.
MashaAllah, good. So one mistake that you made is that you read Ishtarawu as Ashtarawu. Now, yeah. So now with the grammar that we have learned, we know that the order can either be ish or right. So whatever you're learning, we try to implement. So even if that al-ladina is not there and only this much is written, you should be able to understand whether it is ishtaru or ushtaru. Right? The fact that there is a hamzah on the ain kalima, it is going to be ishtaru and not ushtaru, because ushtaru comes only in bab nasara. Are you understanding, or it is difficult?
Yeah.
Right. So bab nasara has nasara yansuru, and only that will give us unsuru. So wherever there is a pesh on the ain kalima, we will get a pesh on the hamza. And if not, we will get a kasra. So daraba yadribu idrib. So if that hamza doesn't have any i'rab, and if you're starting from that, then you will pronounce it as e. So you will say as ishtaru. Right? So there are some situations in the Quran also when an ayat starts with something like this and it has nothing, and if you do not know this rule, you might pronounce it in a wrong way. Right? So having knowledge of these words is important, and only when you have that, you will be able to pronounce it the right way. Whether the ain kalima has a dhamma or a fatha, you will read it accordingly. Right? Is that clear?
Yes.
Yeah. So there are certain situations, I'm not now offhand remembering that ayat, but that ayat starts with an order and there is no i'rab written on it. So only if you know that, you'll read it the right way. Inshallah, when we come on it, we'll see it. But good, you made that mistake, so everybody would understand this, and this is already covered in the grammar. So whatever is covered, we try and implement into our normal knowledge.
Iqra is the ayat. Now we start with order. Iqra bismi rabbikal ladhi khalaq.
Yes, Ikra also. But there, what happened is in the Indian Masaf already that Zair is written, right? But there are certain situations in the Quran that Arab is not written, and then there's a likelihood that you could make a mistake there, inshallah. So I'll see and inshallah put it on the group on which ayat that is when I get it. Right? So with that knowing of how the order is being formed, that will get a little easier for you. So do not ever call someone o believer, o munafiq, o disbeliever, or o mocker. So what we shouldn't call in context to what we have learned now. Of course, we can say a believer, but others we have to. We are not always sure, and of course, in that we know that the disease of hypocrisy lies in the hearts, and that is the reason we should not call somebody. What? The answer is very simple, but just put the answers there so that you know that you are all awake on this Sunday morning. Right. Okay. So Munafiq is the answer. So Munafiqs are dash, they are double-faced, they are losers, they are mockers, or they are guided. Select more than one. We have to select more than one answer. Okay, so they're all three. They are double-faced also, they are losers also, and they are mockers also. Okay, so taking all these ayats together and tying it up together with what we have learned earlier. So, and when it is said to them, believe as the people have believed, they say, should we believe as the fools have believed? Indeed, they themselves are the fools, but they do not know. And when they meet those who believe, they say, we believe. And when they are alone with the evil ones, they say, indeed, we are with you. We are only mocking. So Allah mocks at them and prolongs them in their transgression while they are wandering blindly. And as we saw in the last part, they have the ones who have purchased the error instead of the guidance and not will benefit their commerce, and they are not from the guided ones. So if you take the whole thing, we had started Surah Al-Fatiha where we were asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for guidance. And Allah ta'ala is telling us in the first pointer, the first page, that who are the ones who are going to get guidance. And then he goes on to say who are the ones who are not going to get guidance. And this particular pointer ends with this point saying that Wama Kanu Muhtadin, and they are the ones who are not going to get guidance. Right? So now we understand the whole sequence of how the Quran is linked. You might feel that Surah Al-Baqarah is completely different from Surah Al-Fatiha, but they are all completely linked, and each surah has a link to the other. And the ayat are also linked. When we are translating ayat one by one, we are sometimes not able to link them well. But if you see now, this whole context is ending with the fact that Allah Ta'ala is telling us clearly, absolutely verbatim, clearly on who are the ones who are going to get guidance and who are the ones who are not going to get guidance. An answer to what we were asking in Surah Al-Fatiha. Right? There we were asking, Ihdinas Siratal Mustaqim. And then Allah Ta'ala says in the Surah Al-Baqarah that Dalikal Kitabul Arif Hudallil Muttaqeen. So guidance is for whom? For the Muttaqeen. And then Allah Ta'ala defines whom these Muttaqeen are, then goes on to define the Kafirs, and then goes on to define the Munafiqs and hypocrites. And then Allah Ta'ala is ending the whole thing, this situation, by telling us that they are the ones who have purchased error instead of Huda. And we again, you had in Surah Al-Fatiha, in the end we were saying غَيْرِ الْمَغْضُوبِ عَلَيْهِمْ وَلَا الضَّالِّينَ, and we don't want to become of the Dallin. Allah Ta'ala is getting that Dallin back here and saying the people themselves are the ones who are purchasing the misguidance and error instead of guidance. And for them, this trade that they do is not going to benefit them. And the loss is that they are not going to be guided. So we have to ask Allah Ta'ala for guidance, and we have to ask Allah Ta'ala for guidance, for which we have to implement on the things that have been said on the first pointer on the first page. Right? So this lessons we had seen, first, the Munafiqs are double-faced and they are the mockers. This is the first part. The second is وَيَمُدُّهُمْ فِي طُغْيَانِهِمْ. Allah Ta'ala is prolonging them in their transgression. And the last part is that they are the losers and they are the ones who are not guided. So the timeline and the way the ayat are moving, it is now you'll know how well they're connected to each other. Otherwise, what we feel, one ayat we are taking, and then if you're not able to link them, we feel that one ayat is different and the second ayat is different. Once you have this kind of a link up, it is easier for people who want to memorize also. Right, so with this, we are going to make a dua that Allah Ta'ala make me a true believer and help me to make dua sincerely. And we pray to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala that Allah Ta'ala accepts our dua and help me deal with people with sincerity. As I told you, in any amal that we do, there has to be ikhlas, there has to be sincerity, and that sincerity has to be only for Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. And the plan for that is, inshallah, I will not mock at any person, because the people who mock, we know what their level is and how Allah is actually mocking at them. So we should try and analyze ourselves and try to become better. So with this, we'll go to the nouns and the verbs, the asma and the af'al of these verses. So the first ism is shaitan. The plural of that is used shayateen, which we have seen before. So the singular is shaitan and the plural is shayateen. The second noun that we are seeing is mustahzi'un. So the singular form of mustahzi'un is mustahzi'un, right? So you now know how that little difference of that mad makes the difference, right? So if you see here, I just highlight this so that a lot of people feel that it's not important, but how much difference does it make? So here, if I'm pronouncing this as mustahzi'un, it is just with single harka. And here it is mustahzi'un, this wow, this is a madda, right? Wow, wow sukun with a dhamma in front is a sukun. So if you are not pronouncing this right, both will sound similar. Mustahzi'un, mustahzi'un. If you pronounce the second one, it will sound similar. So that is the reason you should be able to clearly differentiate mustahzi'un from mustahzi'un. Mustahzi'un. Okay, mustahzi'un, mustahzi'un. And the other case will be mustahzi'in. So it can, the plural can come in both forms. The last word which has come is muhtadin. So the other could be muhtadun. And here the noun is muhtadin. It could be muhtadun here also. We could have a pesh also. Here again, the same thing would apply if this is muhtadun. Suppose if we had two peshes here, again we have to differentiate it from mustahdi'un. Mustahdi'un, mustahdi'un, mustahdun, mustahdun, and mustahdun. Right? This is not mustahdi'un, this is muhtadun and muhtadun. Okay, I hope I'm not confused you all too much. Just the difference in the i'rab that you have to note and pronounce it properly also, so that this has to be two harkat. Mustahzi'un, muhtadun, muhtadin, mustahzi'un, mustahzi'in. So it has to be two harkat prolonged, right? So that is the mad. Right. So these are the singular and the plural of the asma. So three asma we have taken: shaitan, shayateen, mustahzi'un, mustahzi'un, mustahzi'in, muhtadin or muhtadun, muhtadun, and muhtadin. Now coming to the verbs and on the pattern of the sami'a, nasara, daraba, and all that. So we have the word amiha, right? From ya'mahun. So amiha is the past tense. And if you see, there is a sin written in front of it. What it means, it is bab sami'a. So sami'a past tense is yasma'u. So amiha is ya'mahu, because it is bab sami'a. This has come about 7 times in the Quran. So the root words here are ain, mim, and ha. And the bab is sami'a. That's why the root word is amiha. So we can make the full gardan of this amiha, amihu, amihta, amihtum, amihtu, amihna. And the present tense will be ya'mahu, ya'mahu, ya'mahuna, ta'mahu, ta'mahuna, ta'mahu, na'mahu. Okay. And the order is i'mah. So as I said, that when the ain kalima has got a zair or kasra, and the present tense has a fatha, then fatha or dhamma, then there will be a kasra at the order. I'mah, i'mah. Okay. I'mah, i'mahu, la ta'mah, la ta'mahu. And the blind wanderer is called amih, right? Amihun. Not umyun is blindness, but amihun is the blind wanderer, the one who wanders blindly, right? And the process of wandering blindly is a'mahun. And there's no passive participle here. So nothing can wander blindly by itself. That's why there's no passive participle. That's why there's a dash written at the place of the passive participle. Rabihu, rabihta, rabihtum, rabihtu, rabihna. And the present tense of that is yarbahu, because this also is from bab sami'a. Sami'a, yasma'u, rabiha, yarbahu. Okay. So yarbahu, yarbahuna, tarbahu, tarbahuna, arbahu, narbahu. Just practice this also. The order will be irbah, irbahu, la tarbah, la tarbahu. And the one who is profiting, the profiteer, is rabih. And the thing that is profited is marbuh, and the profit is called ribhun. This ribhun is different from ribah, which is interest. Okay, ribah is interest, is different from ribhun. Ribhun is the verbal noun of rabiha. Rabiha means to profit. Okay, as I told you, riba comes from the fourth form, arbaha yurbihu. So don't mix with that. Rabiha is profit. Once we come to that, inshallah, we'll be taking that form also, inshallah. For now, just remember this that we have done and the full gardan of rabiha. The fourth word is khala. So the root words of khala are kha, lam, and waw. This will go in the pattern of da'a, right? Khala, da'a. Da'a, yad'u. So khala, yakhlu. So khala will be khala, khalaw, khalawta, khalawtum, khalawtu, khalawna. And the present tense will be yakhlu, yakhluna, ukhlu. Now that wow is gone and there is no sukun here, but even then it is an order. Just note that. I'll just highlight it so that you know. Here you're seeing a ish, ukhlu. All other orders have a sukun at the end. But this ish is actually because there was a wow here which has been dropped and that has been shifted to this sukun. And that's why it has become ukhlu. Right? So this is the difference in the weak verbs, weak words, where one, that because of the weakness, the normal pattern gets lost, right? So like idrib has a sukun, but here it is ukhlu, right? And the process of being alone is khuluwun, khuluwun. Okay, khuluwun means loneliness or being alone. Khuluwun. This is how the verbs will go according to khala.
Sir, takhliya or khalwat in Urdu, is it derived from this only?
Takhliya, takhliya.
Takhliya or khalwat?
Khalwat could be from this. I'm actually not an expert in Urdu, but what is the meaning of that in Urdu when you say that?
Alone?
No, loneliness. So yeah, it will derive from this only. So maybe there's another one, Yamul Khaliya, right? So the time that was free time. For that also, for that also this so this is
Vacuum.
yeah. Hello means to be alone or to be without
khali bhi ho sakta hai na?
khali also comes from this one. So this word, see that this khali is the active participle, khalin.
अच्छा ये एक वर्ड ये होता है ना हुर्फ जर मुंजूमत खला, कोई वो भी यही है क्या? इज इट सेम? हेलो.
Yeah.
हाँ, एक वर्ड मुंसूब मुस्तला ऐसा एक ये है इसमें हुर्फ जर की लिस्ट के अंदर है. So is it same or this?
No. This is see again, like we had da'in for dua, the active participle was da'in, right? So same way for khala it is khalin. Okay, so it is like fa'ilun, but instead of the 9 kalima having it is come on the lam itself because the last word is a weak letter. That's why the word is become khalin. Okay. That is a difference. It is fa'ilun. Here it is khalin. Right? I'm not able to hear you.
Yeah, there is some breaking points.
Anyways, we'll go ahead. So 3 verb keys for rabiha are. We have to see verb keys. So verb keys means the past tense, the present tense, and the order. So what is the verb key for rabiha?
Rabiha.
It is rabiha marbuhun, ribhun, rabaha, rabahu, ribhat, ribha, yarbahu, irbah, rabih dash ribahatun. So we have to see simple. It is simple past tense, present tense, and order. Simple, very simple. So, right. So most of you are getting it right. It is C. That is the answer. Okay. Rabiha, past tense. Yarbahu, present tense. Irbah, order. So the fi'l mudare, that means the present tense of khala is what? Khalau yakhluna, khala yakhlu. This is simple. They want the present tense of khala. Khala is singular, third person. So it is D, yakhlu. Okay. Right. So this question has gone before. And a simple one. Shayateen plural. Shaitan plural is shayateen, shaitaneen, shaitanun, shaitanat. Right. So here we know that this is different. It is not wawnun and yanun. It is shayateen. Simple one. Alhamdulillah. So with this we have covered the Quran part, and now we will go to the grammar part of it. So I will stop share and then we will share the grammar part. Okay. So today in the grammar part we'll be learning the word hada. Here again, this is a weak verb, and weak verb has the last alphabet ya as the weak word. As you saw in laqu, lam, qaf, and ya, that was ya with a nuqta there. As ye, it will come as a, ha, da. Instead, but the spelling in that will write the ya also in it. This is a simple conjugation of the verbs. فعل فعلوا فعلت فعلتم فعلت فعلنا يفعل يفعلون تفعل تفعلون أفعل and نفعل افعل افعلوا لا تفعل لا تفعلوا فاعل مفعول and فعل. This is just a basic revision. We are on weak letters, waw, ya, and hamza and alif, and they become weak because they sound like a pain when somebody has a, u, e. Just for remembrance, wahaba, wa'ada, qala is what we had seen before. And we have to remember that when the verb is weak, it could still fall in any of these patterns, and we have to try and fit it in that pattern. As you have seen in today's example also, sometimes a vav can become hamza, sometimes it can become ya. So they keep interchanging one another as per the convenience. So, but we have to learn those differences to know exactly what it is. So hada, the last letter ya is the weak one. And we have already seen this is ihdinas siratal mustaqim. And today we will come to the conclusion of how this ihdi is coming, inshallah, once we reach that. Okay. So the past tense word here is hada. Right? The ya is not, there is no Arab written on that, but it will be pronounced as alif maksura or al ya with the sound of an alif. So the past tense plural is slightly different. Hada, it will come with a waw, sukun, and an alif, so it will become hadaw. Like khala was khalaw, da'a was da'aw. Same hada becomes hadaw. Right? So this is a lean, the pronunciation will be like a lean. Lean in tajweed terms is waw sukun preceded by a fatha or a zabar. Okay? So hada, hadaw, and second person will be hadaita. See, now it changes to ya. In the past tense, it is hadaw, but in the past tense second person, it becomes hadaita. This is the difference that you have to note. Hadaita and hadaitum. Right? And then everything will form in the same haday pattern. Hadaita, hadaitum, hadaitu, and hadaina. Right? So the two differences that you have to keep in mind are that the past tense will be hadaw, present past tense second person onwards it will be hadaita, hadaitum, hadaitu, and hadaina. This is the key for fi'l madi for the word hada. Okay, right. So going ahead, these two differences you have to remember, and right. So we'll just do a little spoken Arabic practice. Hal hada. Hal is did, hada he guide. Did he guide? So he would say no, he did not guide. Ma hada. Right. So we'll just take the conversation. So somebody can just help me out with this. I'll ask the question and you all can answer. We can unmute your mics. Maybe 2-3 can unmute so that you get participating in what we are doing. Hada.
Mahada.
Mahada. Did he guide? No, he did not guide. Hal hadaw.
Mahadaw.
Mahadaw. No, he did not guide. So in the third person, we know that both are going to remain same. The question and answer is going to remain same. In second person and first person, it is going to be different. So hal hadaita.
Mahadaitu.
Right. So the question is, hal hadaita, did you guide? And the answer is mahadaitu. I did not guide.
I did not.
Hal hadaitum.
Mahadaina.
So since the question is asked to multiple people, the people will answer in the first person in plural, right? So, hal hadaitum ma hadaina.
No.
Right. So with this, yeah. So what is the meaning of jazaitum? So jazaitum is on the pattern of hadaitum, hada, jaza. The root words are jim, za, and ya. But the pattern is going to be the same, and the words are going to be similar, and the past tense conjugation is also going to be similar. So jaza, jazau, jazai, jazaita, jazaitum, jazaitu, jazaina. So the past tense will have a vav, alif, and the past tense second person onwards will be jazai. Okay, jazaita, jazaitum, jazaitu, jazaina. Right, just remember this. So this is a simple one, and translation of this will be you reward, you all rewarded, and they rewarded. So tum is second person and plural, so you all. So now it's present tense or past tense. We know that the past tense, everything goes in the end part of the word, and that's why it will become you all rewarded. Okay, past tense. Yeah. Okay, you all rewarded. Now coming to the present tense and how to derive the present tense, we know that the past tense word is hada, so it will have a fatha on the ain kalima, and it is not hadiya. That's why this bab samia is already out. We are left with 3 options. It could be hada yahda, hada yahdu, and hada yahdi. Right? So alif is changed to ya to make it easy, and this therefore falls in the bab daraba yadribu, hada yahdi. Right? Daraba yadribu is the bab on which this pattern of the verb is following. That's why the present tense is yahdi. Hada means he had guided. Yahdi means he will guide or he is guiding. Okay? So now we got the present tense key to the word hada, and the present tense we will form then yahdi, yahdi, yahduna, yahdi, yahduna. Okay? Once we get that, tahdi, tahduna, and ahdi and nahdi. Okay, so then it is simple. Yahdi, yahduna, tahdi, tahduna, ahdi, and nahdi. So we know that the present tense, then TPI, we are going to be keeping an I pass together. Hada, hadaw, hada, hadaw, hadaita, hadaitum, hadaita, hadaitum, hadaitu, hadaina. And the present tense will be yahdi, yahduna, yahdi, yahduna, tahdi, tahduna, ahdi, and nahdi. Okay, so you have to keep practicing this so that you know the small differences because of the weak letter that are coming out here. Right? And we are seeing here that is bab daraba yadribu. So yadribu, yadribuna, make it yahdi, yahduna. So we'll again practice some spoken Arabic. Only Allah guides and no one else guides. That's why we will say al yahdi, means has he guided. This is not Allah. That's why the answer is coming as la. So hal yahdi, answer is
La yahdi.
la yahdi. Al yahduna,
La yahduna.
hal tahdi,
La ahdi.
hal tahduna,
La nahdi.
la nahdi. So this is again simple, but since the words are slightly different, it could be confusing because if you are going to follow on the pattern. So only Allah guides and no one else guides. Al yahdi ahadan. Ahadan means anyone or any somebody. So like somebody. Hal yahdi ahadan. We're just adding ahadan to whatever spoken Arabic we have discussed till now. So just that and nothing more different. هل يهدي أحدا؟
لا يهدي أحدا.
هل يهدون أحدا؟
لا يهدون أحدا.
Now for the second person and first person, the question will be tahdi and the answer will be ahdi. هل تهدي أحدا؟
لا أهدي أحدا.
هل تهدون أحدا؟
لا نهدي أحدا.
MashaAllah. So this is simple. We just add the word ahadan like we used to add zaidan and Quran in the other words. Yahdi ahadan. So wa yahdi him. Select more than one. Wa yahdi him. And guided them. And he will guide them. And he guides them. And they guide him. Yahdi him. The answer. And yahdi him. I'm waiting, so just put the answers in the chat boxes. Okay. The answer is he will guide them and he guides them both, the present and future both. Okay, because that's why it is written select more than one answer. Nahdi. Again, select more than one. You guide, I guide, we guide, and we will guide. So present, future, and first person plural is what is the answer. So it is simple. The answer is more than one. So it will be C and D. We guide and we will guide. Okay, translated to Arabic, they guide. This is also simple. Yahdi, Yahduna, Ahdi, and Huda. So there are a lot of places where it comes Allah Ta'ala guides. Allahu Yahdi man yasha. That's for singular. But here it is they guide. This is slightly different, so we'll just skip this. Hal yahdika Allah. Hal yahdika. Did he guide you? And Allah is coming. And we are seeing that Allah is coming in the nominative case with a pesh. So who is doing the work of guiding? Allah. Right? That's why the pronunciation should be proper. Hal yahdika Allah. Or putting it properly without that. Hal yahdika Allahu. Did he guide you? Or simple could be did Allah guide you? So the answer is going to be Na'am hadallahu ful'anan. Na'am Allahu huwal hadiyun. Na'am yahdinillahu. And Na'am Allahu yahdika. What is the answer? Remember that this is a second person and first person conversation. So when the question is being asked to a second person, he will answer in the first person. Right? So I'm giving you all the clues so that you're getting the answer becomes easy. So what is the answer? Let the answers come in the chat boxes. I'm waiting for you. The answer is right. So the answer is C. Na'am yahdinillahu. Yes, Allah has guided me. Yahdini Allahu. Na'am yahdini Allahu. But when you're pronouncing, you pronounce it Na'am yahdinillahu. Yahdinillahu. Right? So Allah will be in the it will be pronounced with a soft thing because of the kasra here. Na'am yahdinillahu. Okay. So good. Basically, this is just to develop the understanding of the words. Hal jazahumullahu khayra. Hal is jazahum. Their jaza Allah. Jazahum Allahu. Did Allah give them jaza khaira, good jaza? Did Allah give them good jaza? Right? So this Allahu means Allah is the doer of the action because it has got a dhamma on it, pesh on it. So did Allah give them jaza? Khaira, in a good way. Did Allah give them good jaza? Is how this will be translated in English. So that the answer is going to be what? Naam yajzihini lahu khaira. Right? No. Naam jazahumullahu khaira. Naam jazahum. It is hum there. Let your answers come. Only 2 answers have come till now. Others also answer so that your participation is there. Even if you're making mistake, don't worry. This is not an exam. So Na'am Jazahumullahu khaira. Now we'll come to the order of how the order has come. We have already studied the meaning of this in Surah Al-Fatiha, but now we'll see how this is derived. So the word past tense is hada, present tense is yahdi. Now that ya is dropped both from front and back, and what we are left with is ha with a sukun and b, hadi. But we cannot pronounce that with a sukun. That's why we want something in front, and that's why this hamza is added. And since this is bab daraba yadribu, it is not going to be uhdi, it is going to be ihdi. Okay? So that's why hamza is added in the beginning, and normally the Arabs will not write the Arab on this hamza because they will know that it has to be pronounced as ihdi. And with this we know how ihdi na has come. Ihdi is we are ordering Allah, imperative, we are telling Allah, guide na us. Ihdi na. Okay, so this is the now you know grammatically how ihdi na is coming. So guide is ihdi, and the plural will be ihdu. Allah is singular, that's why we are saying ihdina. Ihdi, ihdu. La tahdi. Don't guide. La tahdaw. La tahdu. Sorry. La tahdu. La tahdi. La tahdu. Okay? Here also there's a slight difference in the plural and singular. With that we come to the active participle, the passive participle, and the verbal noun. Here we have 2 verbal nouns. We'll come to it when we see. So hadin, sorry. Hadin is the one who guides. Allah is Hadi, is the guide. Hadin, Mahdiyun. Mahdiyun, the one who is guided. Right? So we know Mahdi alayhi salam is actually Mahdiyun. He is the one who Allah will guide him in the last times. Right? Hadin, Mahdiyun, and the verbal noun are 2 here. Hudan, guidance. Hidayah, both mean the same, guidance. Okay? So Hudan and Hidayah. Hidayah is commonly used, Hidayat, and Huda is also used. So both are having the same meaning, and both are verbal nouns of the same root words, ha, the, and ya. Okay, so Hadin, Mahdiyun, Hudan, and Hidayah. 2 verbal nouns, 1 active participle, 1 passive participle. Hadin, Mahdiyun, Hudan, and Hidayah. Just practice this. This is slightly different from the format. Halil hidayatu hidayata minallahi. Since min is come, that's why Allah is come as Allahi. Halil hidayah, is the hidayah minallahi, from Allah? And the answer is yes, the hidayah is from Allah. So what will the answer? Naam al hidayatu minallahi. Naam al hidayatu min indillahi. Naam al hidayatu ilallahi. Naam yahdi Allahu. So since the question has min, the answer will have min, and since it is the al-hidayah which is asked, that's why the answer also will have the same. This again is simple, and the answer is Naam al-hidayatu minallahi. Okay. So with this we come to the total gardan of the word hada. So hada, hadaw, hadaita, hadaitum, hadaitu, hadaina, and the feminine will be hadat. This is slightly different, so just memorize that this is slightly different. Hadat is the feminine form. He guided is hadat. Hadat. Okay, so he guided is hada, she guided hadat. Hada, hadat. Hada, hadat. He guided, she guided. Hada, hadat. Okay, present tense we have seen yahdi, yahduna, tahdi, tahduna, ahdi, and nahdi. This is the prepare for that. And the feminine form is tahdi. He guides. Tahdi. Right? Yahdi, yahduna, tahdi, tahduna, ahdi, nahdi, and ahdi. He guides. Right? So just remember these differences. Ihdi, ihdu, la tahdi, la tahdu, adin, mahdiyun, hudan, and hidayatul. This is the full complete gardan of the word hada. Differences you have to keep in mind are these red arrows. The plural is hadaw, the feminine form is hadat, and the active participle is hadin. And the present tense is yahduna, and the order plural is ihdu. Ihdi, ihdu. So they are sounding different, right? That is what you have to keep in mind. So this is the weak words. Repeat the whole table. Write it again. These weak words, some things are slightly different, but these words are very commonly repeated. And hidayat is a very commonly repeated word in the Quran. So just practice it as much as possible, and inshallah it will become easy for you. Coming again and practicing the keys for the word hada. So hada is he guided. With that we get the full key. Hada, hadau, hadaita, hadaitum, hadaitu, hadaina. And the present tense is yahdi, yahdi, yahduna, tahdi, tahduna, ahdi, and nahdi. Ihdi, ihdu, la tahdi, la tahdu. These are the verbs. Hadin, mahdiyun, huda, and hidayah. So these are the differences that you have to keep in mind, and that's why they have circled separately. The plural is hadaw, and the feminine form is hadat. He guides is yahdi, and the present tense is of the plural is going to be yahduna. So yahdi, yahduna. Right? Ihdi, ihdaw, ihdu. And hadin, haduna, and hadina will be the plural of that. This is what you have to remember. So simple question again, 3 noun keys. So in noun keys, what we are seeing is the active participle, the passive participle, and the order, and the verbal noun. Sorry, hadin, mahdiyun, and hidayah. Right. So this is what we have seen already. Just put it the answers in the chat boxes. Right. So I already told the answer, so we will go ahead. Hadin, mahdiyun, and hidayah. The same thing for jaza. And now we want the verbal keys. So verbal key is what? The past tense verb, the present tense verb, and the order. Where is that? Past tense verb is jaza, present tense is yajzi, and order is ijzi. Right? So here it is not having a sukun, right? So like had ihdi had a kasra, ijzi is also having a kasra and not having a sukun. I'll just come back to that slide so that you understand that also better. Here we do not have a sukun. Normally all the orders will have a sukun in the end. But here we are not having a sukun. This is again a difference. Here it is not ihd, right? It is having a kasra, right? Unlike other orders where it is normally having a sukun. Idrib has a sukun. If al has a sukun, but here it is not a sukun, it is a kasra. So remember this difference also. So again, the weak letters are causing all these differences, and that's why we are studying them in a specific way. Okay. With this, you just do the homework of this, translate into Arabic. For every nation is a guide. So you just try and write the answer of that. Translate in English, Ihdina Sirat al-Mustaqim. This is simple. Answer with no in Arabic. Hal hadaytum ahadan. We have already practiced that. And this is the verb key for the words. And you have to just write the past tense, present tense, the whole chart that is there. Just practice that. So we have seen this multiple times, and we have come to the last verb, hada, today. So, wahaba, Allah will gift. Wa'ada, that is his promise. Allah, he said, zada, he will give more. So make dua, yad'u, and for guidance, hada. Right? So we should try to therefore pray for him for guidance. We've seen just to remember the patterns that we are studying. So all the patterns will fall, all the other verbs will fall in these patterns. Whenever a weak verb comes to you, try to fit them in any of these patterns. Right, so with that, we have completed the grammar part for today. We've taken just one word, but today's word you have to practice because this is slightly different, and the parts of it are different. So just make it very sure that you know each part properly, the order properly, the present tense properly, the feminine tense properly. That would be the homework. And if you are gained that, then all this exercise will be of help. Just write and practice hada and practice jaza. These are very commonly used words. Jaza'ahum inda rabbihim and yajzi, and these are very commonly used words. So just practice them. They are weak words, that's why the patterns are different from the normal fa'ala pattern. But now since we have studied this, inshallah, it will be easy for you. So with this, I'm stopping my screen share and I'm available for questions for today's session. So we have studied these weak verbs and we have realized that all weak verbs have something slightly different. So what you have to actually do and memorize is what are the differences in all the weak verbs that we have studied till now. We have studied wahaba, wa'ada, ala, zada, hada, and the last one was right? So these words we have studied. So we have to understand and memorize all the patterns of each of them because each of them is a classical example by itself. So whenever we get the word in whatever form, knowing that it is weak, it will come in that way. So like this ihdina, if we had started with ihdina, you know the meaning of it, but now we know how it has been derived. Right? So any questions for today's session or for maybe previous sessions also? No problem.
May I ask you some question?
Yeah.
This regarding this mostly we have studied about hidayat, no? Hidayat is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And
yeah,
this Urdu will say Allah tawfiq deta hai jise.
Correct.
But लेकिन I agree with this, but इंसान लोग भी गाइडेंस करते हैं या रहनुमाई करते हैं, उसके लिए कुछ अलग होगा क्या वर्ड?
कैसा है कि इंसान जो है वो दावत दे सकता है हिदायत की. So the guidance is going to come only from Allah. Because in the Quran, a lot of places Allah Ta'ala says, Yahdi man yasha ila siratul mustaqim. He guides the one whom he wishes. Right? So the same ayat, some people have translated that it is we who have to desire this guidance and only then we will get it. The same words say Yahdi means he guides, man yasha, whoever wishes guidance. So this has been translated both ways, but as we know from the Quranic perspective, when Allah Ta'ala is telling the Prophet, you cannot guide people, it is Allah who guides people. We can give them dawah to come to the right path, but the hidayah is not in your hands. Hidayah is the complete guidance which is there in Allah's hands only, right? So that is the basic slight difference. The guidance will come from Allah, but we have to work on people so that they are able to come close to the guidance. But only if Allah wishes, then that person will get guidance. Because if you are giving, say, dawah to 10 people, it might be just maybe 1 or 2 might accept, or maybe nobody might accept. We have stories of prophets who have tried to give dawah and nobody would accept the dawah, right? So the hidayat is going to come from Allah. The guidance of that is going to come from Allah, but we are going to be guiding them or giving them invitation to this guidance. So what our job is not hidayah, our job is dawah, and the hidayah or the guidance is going to come from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I hope that clarifies your question.
Yes, sir. But in this word is vaguely used. Normally, parents भी हिदायत देते हैं बच्चों को, या उस्ताद भी हिदायत देते हैं.
So वो रहनुमाई है हिसाब से. That is a kind of a रहनुमाई.
Synonym होगा ना अरबी में?
When Allah Ta'ala is talking of hidayah.
Synonym.
No. See, when Allah Ta'ala is talking,
hidayah is perfectly for Allah, right. And then there might be some synonym word for other people. Yeah.
No, so that is also see, Allah Ta'ala clearly says in the Quran that you cannot guide whom you want. Correct? So, but you can give dawah to whom you want. But the guidance is going to come from Allah. So when in the Quranic perspective, when the word hidayah is used, it is guidance that Allah wants from people, on which Allah will give people. Right? But of course, like for example, Ibrahim Islam's example, he wanted guidance, so he asked for guidance, and then Allah Ta'ala gave him the guidance. But that first thought also has to come, and you should be having that yearning to learn. That thirst or that hunger for that learning should be there. Only then you will be able to get it. And any other questions pertaining to today's grammar and today's this thing? You have to memorize it because that's the only way out There's no shortcut to it. And mashallah, you all have reached this level, so that is also a good achievement, because with this reaching this level, you would be comfortable with a lot of other things that you're reading, and you will be able to understand a lot of words, and now the construction on how they are, first person, second person, plural, singular, order, and things like that. And when you're seeing the meaning, now you might be able to correlate at how it is fitting into this formula of the grammar that we are learning. So it is completely mathematical. This Arabic grammar is completely like a mathematical thing. You have to fit it at the right place, and then you get the right words, inshallah. Right. So any other questions anybody has for today's class? Right. So as far as the decision for the Ramadan is concerned, the majority feel that we should take a break. So I think I was thinking on what to do. It's going to be just 1 hour. So what I was thinking is that we'll keep the session on for the first 2 Sundays, and the last 2 we will keep it off. So it serves both purposes also. And people can at ease, if they are not able to attend session, then they could of course always see the YouTube session, which will be available on YouTube later. So what I've decided is we'll have 2 sessions, or 2 Sundays we will have it, and the last Akhri Ashara we will not have it. So then everybody can do their intensive ibadah in the last Ashara.
Okay.
Right, so any other
now only last pointer is remaining, no? This is D, no?
Last pointer. This is no. This is D. This is the last
The
pointer for page
in
number
the
2.
second pointer of this 4.
No, the second, the 2 is actually the page number 2.
D, and then
we're going to cover 5 pages.
How many Sundays are
going to cover 5 pages, and
this second point?
No, the second pointer is over today, technically. So today second pointer is over. So we'll be starting with third pointer rather.
Achha.
We can have an exam in between, but the thing is now they are not having the papers there online, so we'll have to see how we can do that. The question was asked before also. I think you had not joined that time. The papers, I'll be getting it done this week. So inshallah, in a couple of days, I'll be giving you the answers of that, and the marks of the questions. I didn't have time, and I was completely busy these 2 weeks.
You send the paper, no? In at the end of these sessions. Then we can say one entire, one week we can save.
Correct. True.
Instead of waiting for the week and releasing the paper on next Sunday, you can immediately release. And we have 1 week.
Correct.
To solve. Whenever we get time, we can do it. Because many people may not do it immediately, no?
Correct. No, but at least the class that is done today, at least you do the homework of that, because that will be practice of what you've done in the session, and a revision also. That's why we give the notes so that you can always practice it before also. But that was again yesterday. I think it was on Friday that I had Friday evening that I had sent it. So you just had 1 day, but at least practice it now, because Ada is a little difficult, and the weak verbs. Now, when all of them you take together, then the confusion could start. But if you practice it well, then you will not have confusion.
Or every week should this question itself can serve as an exam, and 20 marks करके 5 में हो जाएगा.
Yeah. Okay, we'll see how we can squeeze that in, inshallah.
Because
any other doubts anybody has, or we conclude the session? Yeah. Right. So if there are no questions, then we can conclude the session.
Okay, sir.
سبحان الله وبحمده سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.